Hi, my name is Matt Carroll with World Class Coaching. And today, with the help of Academy Sports Coach 2024, I want to talk to you about a session that I designed today to work on players going 1v1 and scanning. So what I've got here set up is this would be a coach or an additional player. They would have the cones in their hands, yellow or orange, and there should be something I would warm them up just to get them into the concept of receiving while scanning, receiving the half turn. Physically the body positioning. Now there's back and forth in the community about how effective this is and how much it translates to the actual game. I like the idea as a warm up just to at least make it an unopposed activity where they're reading a visual cue. In the game, they'll obviously be reading the body shape of an opponent or what's going on, around the game itself. But being able to pick your head up and see some kind of visual cue and then make a decision based off that, I think is a great way to warm it up. You need to link it more so with the actual act of reading a person. But I think it's a good way, again, to talk about, hey, well, if you're turning this way, you could have seen a little bit more. Or if you checked before the ball, maybe wouldn't have had to rush your touch or something along those lines. So we can talk about the technical aspects of scanning here. So a player plays a pass. From here. And let's say he holds up the yellow cone. And we want to see our player then dribble around the yellow cone, come back and play a pass to the other player, and then back to the passer. So you can set this up in lines, or you can have just the two people playing. You can have it so that if the coach, you have 4 of these set up, which is what I'm going to do tonight. You have 4 of these set up. The coach just moves, so where they're having to check and how they have to turn their bodies is constantly adjusting, and they adjust their stance based on kind of where the coach is setting up the cones. Okay, so if the coach is to the right, they might open up their left. Or if they're to the left, they might open up to the left, so they can open up, scan a little bit more to the right, and vice versa. So where I would go from here, again, like I said, is you want to make it a little more game-like. I would set up a grid. Need 3 more cones. A grid here with 1 in the middle. You, the attacker, will stand here. The passer will be here. And then the defender will be, here we go, here. And the defender can move to either one of these cones. They can stand in the middle. They can adjust. But when the ball is passed, then the defender comes, we want to tell them to pick one side and force the attacker one way. The attacker then needs to use the skills we just worked on to make a decision in order to beat their defender, get past them. We want to try to put them on our hip, as we say. Put them on our hip, spin them, and go out. Okay, so here you might take this to your front foot, take a touch on your front foot to come to the side, spin off of them, and then drive to this cone. If the defender comes to the other side, you ride at the back foot, but keep on your right side to put the defender on that hip and shoulder it out. So where we would go from here is I would set up in the grid a number of players in the grid. Here, I'm on my stylus today. And then a couple players in black outside the grid. And I would do the same for another team, okay? But what you've got here is the 4 players in the grid have a ball. And they're going to dribble around and find bumper players to pass to. So as soon as they pass, they're then opening their body shape up to receive in a way that they can then go to the next target. So we're scanning, looking where the other players are dribbling to, who's going to this person. Maybe we have another person over here. They're scanning to see, hey, this person's going to go and pass it to this player, so I'm going to open up and receive and play. Here we go. This way. Because this player is passing. It's going this way. So when I passed lots of lines here. I've passed to this player. They're then going to pass back to me. I'm scanning. I see this player's in the act of passing to this person. So I scan, I read the situation. This player then must be open. And I make the decision to turn off and play to this player. What we'll now do is we will add some opposition. Get rid of this. And essentially the same drill, except now we will add defenders. So now you're going 1v1. You're trying to beat your opponent, and you're still trying to play a pass to the player on the outside. By playing to the player on the outside, then we're then evading the defender. So let's say the players on the outside can move around. So this player checks into this space. We play. Then not only are we scanning to look where to receive next, we're scanning to where the defenders are. Defenders are fluid, so there's 4 defenders for 4 attackers, but they can switch off. So if we're looking for this, we see, okay, well, this defender is engaged with this player. My defender is here. Maybe I make a run into this space by scanning the field. And I receive a pass back, running across the face of this player. And then I can find my next player off that. So again, we're working on making it a little more game-like, a little more chaotic, overloading the information. Because if you can read a situation where you have to worry about 4 defenders, when you're coming down against 2 defenders, it's going to be a little bit easier. So we're kind of putting weight on the bat and allowing them to read a number of different situations in order to try to find the best possible outcome with their scanning. So from here, what I would do is I'd play some kind of small-sided game where I'm going to take 4 players in yellow. It's similar to the game we just played. But we're going to go 4v4. Let me set up a pug goal or something along those lines. Maybe if you have goalies, set up small-sided goals, or even if you want to go full-sided here. But for right now, I'm just going to put pug goals here. And the rule is that there's 1 ball, we're playing a game. This player here needs to mark this player. They can only tackle this player. They can move and redirect the player, but they can't steal the ball from this player or this player. And vice versa, this player can only mark this player. So we're seeing a lot of man marking, and you're looking to scan the field in order to utilize the space available to receive from your player, B, have a better chance of going towards goal, and C, to make sure that you're losing your assigned mark. So in doing so, you're constantly having to be aware of where that other player is, and defensively, you're constantly scanning to see where the ball is, but you're focused on the man mark, and you're having to scan where they are. If they're behind you, you're going to have to be opening up your hips, looking for them. So we're talking about offensive and defensive scanning within this part of the drill. And then when we move on from there, is we have a full-sided game. We're going to stop and commend players that are scanning, stop and correct players that maybe aren't scanning or could have scanned, or maybe we stop them and say, hey, if you'd scanned, maybe you'd have seen this. Stop, freeze, turn around. What do you see? Hey, based on that, what's the decision we should make here? And opening it up for discussion about those kind of decisions. And in doing so, sometimes it's difficult for players to kind of adjust to that physical act of scanning because they're so focused on the ball and they're afraid if they take the eyes of the ball, they're going to miss something. In this way, you can kind of show them and help them envision, oh, if I do open and scan, I can see so much more and I can make better decisions and go off of that. So again, in the comments, I'd love to hear some of the things that you do to integrate scanning into your sessions. And for the last time, my name is Matt Carroll, World Class Coaching, the Help Academy Sports Coach 2024. I hope the session finds you well.